Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another episode of Manifesting Muslimah. I'm your host, Zahra, and today we're going to talk about one of the places that a lot of people tend to mess up when they want to manifest something into their life. So the way that I teach the law of attraction, there are 7 steps. And the last and 7th step is patience, practice patience. And patience is not a sitting around waiting for a thing to come. It is, you have gone through all the other steps, of, being specific about what it is that you want, made the dua, taken the internal actions of working on your beliefs, your thoughts, mindset, so on and so forth, and taken the external actions, surrendered it back to Allah. You've done all the work, and at this point there has to be like a patience. But this patience is not a sitting back and sort of just waiting for the manifestation to come. It's not okay, now I've done the work, now I have to just wait for it to come. This is very much an active sort of patience where you're still doing all of the things. And this is where a lot of people will tend to kind of jump off a bit, because most of us, and I'm not, listen, Linda, I'm not trying to, sound mean or, call you out on your bullshit or whatever. But the thing is that most of us lack patience, and it's just the way that it is. And it's only getting worse with the development of technology and everything at your fingertips. And the way that we, in the last, I want to say at least maybe, I kind of want to say, how long has Facebook been around? That was since like 2006 or something, right? Or 7 or something to that effect. But either way, since like maybe let's say 15 years, just to be on the safe side. For the last 15 years of having social media and being able to post something and get that gratification almost immediately, if not immediately, seeing people comment, oh my God, you look so good, mashallah sis, or congratulations sis, this is beautiful, blah, 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 oh, you're on holiday, I'm so jealous, like, share, follow, all the numbers, all that good stuff. The thing is, while it's fun and entertaining and whatever, it's also ruining our levels of concentration and focus. We all know this. I'm not going to go into the science of it and stuff because, first of all, I'm not the person to do that. But you have heard it before, so I don't need to explain it. But it's also the way that we're now sort of, in the last 15 years or so, been programmed to want instant gratification rather than ultimate gratification. We want both, let's be real. But the reality is that if we can get instant gratification, we will sometimes compromise on the ultimate gratification for the instant one. And that is because the instant one is easy. Oh, I'm bored now. Okay, great. Instead of figuring out something productive to do with my time or allowing my mind to drift or wander and whatever, I'll just pick up my phone and scroll on TikTok. Or, there's some quiet now, so I'll just put on a podcast. Hey, is that you? Are you doing it? Either way, it's totally fine. Like, I'm not calling you out on it. Please don't stop listening. But the point is that we're so not used to anymore being able just to sit in the same way and just kind of practice, not having massive amounts of stimulation all the time, I suppose is the way to word it. And this also means that when we're using the law of attraction, we're kind of doing the same thing. Excuse me, puppies. I don't know if you heard the little growl. Twinkle, my deaf dog, has become very much attached to the one doggy bed that they actually share. So I think I need to go out and buy another one so that Doodle also can have one. Anyway, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is that when we're using the law of attraction and it being such a long journey to manifest something, and I'm not saying long journey in that it always will take so much time for your manifestation to come, but the truth is that more often than not, your manifestation is not going to be instant. It can be, and sometimes it is for some people. I've certainly had very, very quick manifestations and sometimes even instant manifestations. But manifestations. But the truth is that more often than not, the manifestations are going to take time because your inner world and your outer world and everything around has to align with it. Sometimes we happen to be ready and be like, oh, wait a minute, I want to try this one. And then because you're already ready, it'll come to you much quicker. But sometimes, for the most part, it's because we have to align ourselves with the thing. And that takes quite a bit of work, because it's not just, I'm aligned for like 3 days out of the week, and then the rest of the days I'm kind of forgetting it and whatever, I'm just doing my thing. And then I'm jumping back on it again and I'm aligned again or whatever. The point is that you have to stay in that alignment. You have to keep doing the actions. And so when you're going for something in the law of attraction and you're going through all the steps, the 7 steps, of doing all of the work, and then you feel like, okay, I've done all the work now. I've kind of completed all the tasks, so to speak. Where's the manifestation? Well, here's the thing. We don't know when it's going to arrive, because we obviously, as Muslims, are going to make a dua where we're basically asking Allah to, bless us with the things that we want, but we're not telling him when to give them to us. Like, we can't set a deadline. Like, well, I mean, do you, right? Like, you can ask if you can have it before a specific time, but ultimately he's the one who's going to decide when the manifestation is going to come to you and when you're ready to have it and what that's going to look like for you. And so if you're sitting down and manifesting something and you feel like, okay, it's been 4 months now, I've been doing the work and I've been persistent, but it's still not arrived. And then you start going down that rabbit hole a bit more, like, oh, why hasn't it arrived yet? Well, maybe I've done something wrong. Maybe Allah doesn't want me to have it. Maybe I'm not worthy of it, whatever. And can you see what's happening there? Is that you start going backwards because you're allowing doubt to set in because time is passing. I can just see, right now on my the program that I used to record my podcast, that there was a big old pop. That's from the fireplace. I don't have central heating in this house, so I have to have a fire on to keep warm. So if you hear more of that, that's literally just the fireplace and the wood popping in there. It's really cozy, actually. But yeah, so we start going backwards sometimes in that time, because the longer it takes from our deciding to want the thing and deciding to manifest it into our life and it actually coming, the more we have to stay consistent with our actions and our words and the effort that we're putting in. And I think this is where so many people get it wrong, or they kind of lose the momentum, because a diet is always fun at the beginning. It's exciting. You see the scale move really quickly, specifically at the beginning of a diet and you being good at it and whatever. And then at some point, it's just going to slow down, and it's natural. It's just going to slow down, or it's not as exciting anymore. It's not as easy to stay away from, the old habits or the extra chocolate in the evening or whatever. And it's the same thing with law of attraction. It has to become kind of normalcy and mundane. And if you've sort of viewed it as in I'm just going to have to do it for a little while, then I'll get the manifestation and then I can sort of go back to living normally, or like it'll be easier when the manifestation comes or whatever, like that, your thinking is that it's wrong. And it's not going to make the manifestation come any faster. In fact, you're pushing it further away that way. The truth is that you have to say, I am this person now. And when the manifestation comes, I still have to continue being this person. It's not about it being easier when the manifestation comes in. It's about it continuing down this same line. My life is not going to change because I already am this person today. So when the manifestation comes, it's not about it being easier or harder. It just means I have aligned myself with the reality that I'm wanting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless me with. And by aligning myself to it, of course, it's coming. And when it's here, I just continue down that same route. It's not about going back to your old ways or releasing any of the work that you've done. It's not about allowing the doubt and the fear and the hesitations and whatever to come back in again. It's about maintaining the work that you've done from the very beginning. And if anything, if not maintaining, then if elevating, progressing it, continuously making it better, making yourself better, constantly thinking of leveling up. And the reality is, again, as I said, the longer time that passes, the bigger the test is for you. Can you stay there? And here's one thing, and I will say this when people comment on TikTok, especially on TikTok, where I've gotten this comment, oh, it's been so long, why hasn't it arrived? But I am ready. Or, and listen, I get it. It is difficult work. Manifestation and using the law of attraction, it's not about it being easy. It's about us taking control of our energy, our thoughts, our mindsets, and our output into this world. and, getting it in return and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with things sooner, because we're aligning ourselves with the blessings that He wants to give us sooner. When I'm getting these comments from people about it being, like, I am ready, why doesn't Allah appreciate all the work that I've done so far? Why doesn't He just come in and do it already and whatever? It's clearly you're not. And now I'm not saying this to be mean, but clearly you're not ready, because if you were ready, you wouldn't even be asking the question, where is it? You'd be focusing so much on the work that you have to do. And the longer you stay, like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees everything. He sees the future, the past, the present, and He doesn't see it in our timeline. Everything's happening at once, or however it works in a circle, or I don't know how it operates in for Him, but it certainly doesn't operate the way that it operates for us. So while we're thinking, okay, I've aligned myself with it this time and I'm being patient and whatever, He already knows perhaps that you in fact are not patient enough, and you're going to divert back to your old mindset and your old habits if I keep you waiting. So sometimes the test in all of this is just the waiting game, the patience. It's not about whether or not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to give it to you, or you're not worthy, or it's taking too long. It's a question of you're not fully aligned yet, because you're still allowing time to make you question whether or not you're worth it. I'm going to say it again, because I'm spitting what am I doing? I'm going to say it again because I'm literally spitting facts into this microphone, okay? You're allowing time. If you're finding yourself in this situation where you're starting to question your ability or worth or whatever to have this thing, then you are not ready. You're allowing time, literal time that will pass no matter what. And that is basically just an illusion we have created as humans in this earth so that we can meet for brunch on Saturdays or whatever. You're allowing time to get in the way of you receiving a blessing. Just think about that for a minute, because I personally think that's pretty profound. But I mean, what do I know? The best advice that I can possibly give to you, if you're finding yourself in this situation, is reassess again. Go back, do the work. Every time you're finding yourself going backwards, allowing doubt, fear, hesitations, all of these things to get in the way, it's basically a sign that you're not ready yet, because you haven't done the inner work yet. You're still not believing the way you're supposed to believe. You're still not thinking the way that you're supposed to think for the manifestation to come in. Every time you're allowing fear, hesitation, doubt, you feeling unworthy or whatever it is, every time that comes in and you roll with it, you allow it to dictate that, hey, maybe I should start questioning whether or not Allah wants me to have this thing. You're basically questioning the whole thing. Like, you're questioning your manifestation. And you cannot both question it and be certain of it at the same time. You can only do one of those things. And if you find yourself in that situation where you're like, but I don't understand then, because how do I get rid of my limiting beliefs or whatever? Like, if I keep falling back, well, my darling, this is the part of the podcast where I'm now going to try and sell you something, but hopefully something beneficial. Because I have recently pre-launched my new online course, Belief Breakthrough. And this is an online course that's launching on the 15th of December 2023. I don't know when you're going to hear this podcast, but it's launching on the 15th of December. And it is a 7-module course. Actually, it's 8, because I've put in a little bonus module in there for you. But in this course, I go through each step for you to locate, accept, reassess, replace, do all of the things, and then keep a new belief and, get rid of the old ones. This e-course is packed with so much information. And so if you're finding yourself struggling in any way, finding it hard to adopt new beliefs, this is the course for you. You can go to my Stand store. Well, you know what? I'm going to link it in this podcast episode, okay? So there's a link in the episode notes. It has an early bird discount. So if you sign up before the actual launch date on the 15th of December, you can get the course for $49.99 Great British pounds. If you sign up on the 15th or after, anytime after that, it'll be $79.99. It's still a bargain if you ask me. But, here we are doing God's work. Sorry, she thinks she's funny. Either way, the point is that I would recommend that you sign up for that course and let someone come in, which in this case would be me, come in and help you with the thing that you're struggling with so that you can start moving on a little bit faster and get your manifestation into your life much faster as well. That is where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me and listening in. I hope you'll consider signing up for the course. It's going to be a fun time, a blast. That is where I'm going to leave this course. That is where I'm going to leave the episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're having an amazing rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever it is. And I will see you in my next episode, inshallah. But until then, please don't forget to live in love.